Welcome back, divers. I am Cosmic.
I'm Chanda.
And go ahead and watch this video for us.
Fat, black, and ugly in Times Square is wild. Like, they really think we're a joke. Like, that big behind, 12-foot, overweight black woman in the middle of Times Square, that is what they chose to represent us? Like, that's what they think about us, y'all. Big, overweight, just, there's nothing attractive about the statue. There's nothing appeasing. It's like this monster of a black woman who's dominating. Like, y'all know what it gives, this aggressive, overpowering, masculine black woman. That's what the statue gives. It does not give anything feminine, soft, strong, powerful, fit. No, it's a big, black, fat, overweight woman in the middle of Times Square to take pictures of. Y'all, they really be playing with us. And until we recognize what is happening out here, they're gonna keep playing with us. They're gonna keep playing with us because we play with ourselves. Baby, this is wild. Wild.
So yeah, guys, this statue was installed in Times Square, New York City on April 29th. And boy, it has stirred up a lot of dust. People are talking about it. A lot of black females are offended, quite frankly. The name of the statue, though, is interesting. It is Grounded in the Stars. And basically, it is a 12-foot bronze statue of obviously overweight black woman with her hands on her hips, braids, and not that attractive. And people are very, very upset because they're saying that it plays into stereotypes. Well, all I can say is art imitates life.
Exactly.
Okay? And I know many women, family members, friends, neighbors, strangers that look just like this statue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure what people expected it to look like.
Like, did they want it to have a BBL and a breast job and a snatch waist
with a wig down to her butt?
Exactly.
Yeah,
is that what she wanted to represent?
Right. So one positive thing, though, is that it's definitely igniting conversation. What are your thoughts about it?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that black women have an issue with this statue. I get relatively tired of black people complaining about how they're portrayed all the time. We are portrayed all the time. When a lot of the time, as you said, life or art imitates life. Mm-hmm. You know, we actually, off topic of the statue for a second, we were watching a show. And you said we were watching something, and the black woman was portrayed as this, you know, aggressive, loud, relatively out of control, you know. And you were saying, why did they make her character that way? And then we were watching a reality show, and the reality show what was that show called? The $1 Million Secret. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like some ratchet, you know, reality show. And the only black girl on there was acting in a very similar manner to the way this girl was being portrayed on this fictional TV show. I'm talking about the black girl from Adolescence. The Netflix series.
Oh, that's what. Yeah,
and
that's
then
what it was
watched,
too.
Yeah,
that's what it was too. That's right. And we also talked about it with Tomb Raider, though.
Maybe. So, I have an issue when they say, I hate that people perceive us in a certain light. I think a lot of the time black people in general, but apparently black women in this case are unaware of, you know, how the majority represent.
They're not unaware.
They must be.
They are not. No, they're not.
Because there's nothing to be upset about. And then another thing I have an issue with
They are
is
not unaware.
why not be curious about the message in it all? What does grounded in the stars mean? Why can't we look at it through a positive lens? And I'm sure if they put up a statue of somebody white, they'd have an issue with that, saying, there's no black representation, and we don't ever get any spotlight or anything. So it's almost like people can't win for losing when it comes to black people, it seems.
I completely agree with that too, because one of the definite positives is that a black woman is being depicted in such a well-traveled space.
Exactly.
I mean, Times Square in
Right.
New York City, right? Thousands and upon thousands of people travel that area. Yes. Does the statue depict the average black woman? It does. So maybe what we need to do is change that depiction.
Exactly.
So if we don't want to be looked at in a certain way, then we need to change how we present ourselves to the world. Hell, I'm surprised the damn statue didn't have a bonnet on. I'm surprised because this is how we show up. This is how we show up. So, no, I'm not exactly sure what the hoopla is about. And you're right. What does grounded in the stars really mean?
Exactly.
I don't know. I haven't done the research on it, but to me, it sounds elevated.
It does.
So that's a positive.
It does.
Another positive is it's a slap in the face of Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is trying to get rid of everything black. So here we pop up, someone who looks like us in his city. Okay? So, yeah, in his flagship city, they put a 12-foot statue of a black girl, a black woman. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
They just wanted her to look like a baddie, I guess.
Apparently.
Instead of your mom and your auntie and your sister and your best friend.
And your grandma.
Exactly.
And whoever,
Mm-hmm.
The teacher that helped you graduate, whatever it may be. I'm really bothered that there's a whole bunch of negativity turned towards this. And, when it comes to, I've said it many a time, especially in our Black Fatigue video, the community's so fractured and nobody can win for losing. Mm-hmm. And at this point, for me, I don't even listen to a lot of these videos. I'm not really deep into the conversation that's being had with it because I think it's ridiculous overall. You're being represented, for one, and two, you're being represented in what sounds like a good light, depending on what the interpretation and the meaning behind the statue is based on the artist Thomas Price. Mm-hmm. So it just makes me tired. It's just one of these is another thing that makes me tired. It's just kind of like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what you want it to look like. And, yeah, what do you have to say?
Well, I really think that it challenges our idea of who should be memorialized. In the past, as we all know, they've memorialized predominantly white men related to the Confederacy or people who believed in white supremacy. And over the past, I'd say 10 years, they've started removing those statues. And now they're putting up or a trial, because this particular statue is not permanent. It is temporary. It is due to be removed on June 17th. However, it's a trial. How is America going to perceive this? Should we start depicting just average people and celebrating average people? I think it's a good thing. I think it's definitely a challenge and provokes conversation that needs to be had. I don't know why people are so upset about it. It's like you said, Cosmic, you can't win for losing. If they have put up a depiction of another kind of a culture, then it would be like, why not us, right?
Right.
So it has to look a certain way. It has to, I mean, why do you have such a problem with how you look and how your family members look? That says more about you than it does about the person who created the statue.
I agree 100%. You know, and that's all I really have to say when it comes to this. You know, I'm out of that argument, out of that fight, because. And if I was a creator of any kind, I'd start leaving black people out of shit. Cause I don't want to hear your fucking mouth about how you're depicted. Then it's almost like if I depict you the way you want to be depicted, there's another.
Why does she have to have straight hair? It'll be all kind
it's
of
always
stuff.
something.
Yeah,
it's always something. So that's just me. You know, I don't like dealing with difficult people who can't get like their shit together, and it's positive. Now if it was something negative, like hell, what's a negative connotation that can be tied to that statue?
She had a box of KFC in her hand,
right, and she's munching on
and eating a chicken leg. Then I could see the outrage.
Right, but yeah, you know, I'm tired of it.
They're all, why does she have to look so unhealthy? Because the majority of black women in America are unhealthy, along with all the others Americans as well. But a lot of us look just like that, if not worse. So a lot of people have difficulty looking at themselves in the mirror.
Well, in which we know in a lot of instances.
That's exactly what it is. This woman, this depiction looks like our aunties, our moms, our grannies. That's what it looks like. I don't know why you're trying to act as if the majority of our population doesn't look just like that.
Right.
You know, now, could she have been a little bit cuter? Yes, she could have been, because, you know, it's really not depicting a pretty woman. But, you know, I think it says more positive than it does negative, in my opinion. And just so you guys know, this is not the first time that this statue has been displayed. It was displayed 2 years ago in Los Angeles, at a well-known museum. So I guess it's making its rounds, and on June 17th, they'll be transporting it, I'm sure, to another location.
But you know what the killer part is? If you're a real consumer, not even a real consumer, if you consume any art, you know, maybe like 15% of art, the women aren't usually that attractive anyway. Look at the Mona Lisa.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That hoe's not attractive.
Right.
And it's one of the most renowned paintings there are.
Right.
And it's almost like, you know, it doesn't make sense. Things that don't make sense just get on my nerves. No, most paintings, they're not beautiful. They're very plain looking. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's about what it's more than that. It's more than what the surface is when it comes to art. Correct. And that's what is irritating in this particular art conversation, is you're completely missing the point.
Yeah, agreed. And Lord, why is the right calling it a DEI statue? Boy, I swear,
Everything black is
everything
DEI.
black is DEI. That is like such a trip to
And
me.
who cares what the right has to say?
Well, they're spewing this stuff out to the masses.
But who cares?
Well, I
almost
do.
like,
I
don't.
do. I care.
I don't.
care.
Half of
because-
you, most of you didn't even finish high school. I don't give a damn about what the people on the right are saying. It is completely irrelevant.
This was actually Fox News that said it.
Most of them probably didn't finish high school and got a job via nepotism. What is it? Nepotism.
Yeah, who's
I don't
to
care.
say? Who's
Yeah,
to say?
I don't
But
care.
you know, they hear that and they eat it up and they run with it.
And Fox News is an entertainment network. It's not even a real news channel for those of you who don't know that either. So, yeah, who cares? You're irrelevant.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, if you want the depiction of black women to be X, then life should imitate that. So that's just, the end of what I have to say about this subject.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.